Okay, continuing with the Battle of Ilipa here, SPQR. And Scipio opens things up with his elite leader bonus, and he ended up making 2 attacks. Oops, one that I didn't complete. And rallying a couple of his units. Melee, this is going to be not a real assault turn like the last turn. He's got to try to reorganize his forces. He's building up a line here that will be able to attack again, but right now he's got to kind of try to press advantages where he can get them. Let the cav do its work too, and try to reform his forces. He's blasting away things that are kind of troublesome right now. These guys probably want to put the elephants in the zone, and that means the elephants have to actually check their morale, and they break. So we get to see an elephant route, which is always fun. That's a 5. That's gonna shoot down this way. 1, 2, 3. We can get rid of these things. The elephant's dead. It's just, it doesn't know it yet. Put some there. And then a 0. Ooh, I don't know if that finishes an elephant off. I'm going to have to look that up. I'll finish this up. We'll see what happens to it. A 0 might be it runs towards the nearest friendly unit. I think this one doesn't end up with an automatic death for the elephant. Next play in effect is the Spaniards down here, the light infantry, had a lot of flank attacks. They came slamming in on multiple sides, but they ended up routing one of the heavies, but 2 of their lights went routing as well. Even, going against the high quality units, maybe getting a little unlucky. Even flank attacks don't work when you've got kind of questionable stuff. This guy should be flipped or unflipped. This would have been an opportunity for the Carthaginians to trump in to prevent that from happening, but they had no leader in the general area. They couldn't do anything with this situation right here. They've got kind of a mess there where they've lost the initiative. And that's one of the things you can have happen to you in this game if you promote your leaders to, if you utilize your leaders in certain locations. For example, we've got, our main Hasdrubal back here trying to pull these phalanx units off. Well, that extra leader could be commanding here because there's just nothing along here. Not until we get to Mago. Got a lot of leaders over on this side and less troops really, so we might want to start shifting some of the leaders over. The Romans continued by trying to bring their triarii up, and these are all moved. I just didn't mark them as such, except for this light infantry in here. But breaks in the line due to routed units, this guy having to go around, has caused the line to become somewhat disordered, and the commander was hoping to get an extra move to kind of realign things, but that did not happen. So now he's going to have to take that next turn. He was also hoping to rally some of these, and they're going to flee. Then, take care of this, we have the replacement here, who led an attack and kind of pushed back some of the Velites. He also had one of his own units rout, which he then rallied. He got a momentum. The Romans chose not to try to trump that momentum. It just wasn't worth it. This wasn't a high-risk situation, even though they had a commander in the area who could have maybe turned the tide there. They let this guy bring up some reinforcements and make a fairly solid line there now. Because really, it's a solid line that's not really that solid because the troops that are comprising it are kind of low quality. So they expect if the Legion hits them, that whole thing's just going to collapse. Getting a little bit of fun with the noisy trucks. The initiative system here moved over, and good old Marcius has pulled the Velites over. And again, I haven't flipped them all over, but they're all moved. In order to provide a shield against the Numenidians. Those could have been trumped, they weren't. it was really, before the line command they had to be decided. And once the line command was activated, well, it was mostly there. So when he got a momentum, the Carthaginians allowed that to keep. But when we got over here and the Cav got the next initiative, the line command failed, and the Romans came charging in, and really, actually, the Carthaginian tried trumping immediately before the line command, and he failed, and the Romans came in and managed 3 flank attacks without the line command. And then another trump, which succeeded over here, getting a momentum hit, and, well, it's a little late, because the Cav over here has taken some pretty heavy hits from that. And it wasn't broken. It's good Cav, those Spanish Lancers, but now we've got to start playing with these elephants over here, and there's not a whole lot they can do. He's going to try to rally his army, I guess. And that trumping in that Bostar conducted was kind of interesting. The elephants came slamming in, drove a couple of Romans into rout. Yes, I'm out of markers, basically. I'm out of the route markers from Alexander. I could start pillaging more and more games. That's just painful right now. But and not all of them are clipped, which is probably the big thing. The only thing I have clipped is Samurai. And then he got a momentum. Who tried to trump him? Silianus tried to trump him and failed, which makes things even worse here. The reason I went with him was he was going to get a momentum chance because it was a 4 that had the trump of momentum. If it had been a higher ranked leader like Massalisa or Hasdrubal, well, then I would have jumped right to Scipio, but I wanted to give him a shot because I wanted to try to carry things on. Well, now he gets no turn. He's got some breaks in his line. He's under some stress. It's a bad situation for him there. Probably should have trumped with Scipio. Just gone with the more likely. Of course, if Scipio failed, that would be bad too, but he already got an activation and got to move a bunch of his units, so it wouldn't be that horrible. And I'd trump over everything except for Massinissa, not Massalisa. Okay. Anyway, that's the end of this guy. I'm not sure where we are because he trumped in, so we still got some 3s left for Rome. And the trumped Romans choose offense over defense with, what do we got? Up here, some of the Spaniards making attempts to push. They got knocked back, but they knocked some back, about equal. And then over here, the Velites, well, they're not going to attack. Now that this guy's not on the line anymore, the line command was just chuck your spears. He may not be able to do that again next time. He's going to maybe have to rally people or whatever, but he wants to soften that up more and more. He's willing to let units run out and take the lost units in exchange for being able to slow down the ability of these medium infantry to crack his Velites. Okay, now we're actually on to the 4s, and let's see. I don't think there are any actually. So I think we move on to our 5, which is over here. And things ended up with Hasdrubal, pushing forward a little bit with some of his heavies. Got a little bit of ground here. He's moving forward. Was hoping to force march these. But as soon as he got in action, momentum, Scipio trumped in. And then he started rallying his forces. He got a momentum. Massinissa trumps in. It doesn't do much. He makes an attack here. He failed his momentum, actually, with a big 8. And that's the end of the round. So, I guess, well, I'm not going to load this one up yet. It's too short. So, I guess this is about it. Oh, man, missed it again. My eyesight's really going here. Mr. Mago, he wasn't flipped. I'm going to allow him an activation here. Let's see what happens. Yeah, it's cheating, but, you know, there's no other way around it. He's getting cheated too hard if he doesn't get one there. He won't be getting any trumping because somebody was able to momentum in earlier in the turn. Well, not much effect to that. I can't really take the whole panorama in. But anyway, let's take a look at. I ought to move my table out this way in order to do that. The effect of that, really, it was just a static fight there. He did a line attack on those. He ended up losing 1 unit routing. That's about it. I like to take a look, since we're close to the end of this video in terms of time, I like to take a look sometimes from what the other side looks like. Here, stupid poppies. You know, let's see what it looks like from this other angle. I got the routing units, a lot of routing units coming off my side. That big wall of velites that I'm trying to, now I'm running away from it, and now it's going to pivot back around and use maybe the edge of the map. There's rules where it can't really anchor itself on there, but to tell you the truth, that thing's big enough that there's no way you could get around it without really making some effort. Coming to the center, how strong does it look? Well, these look not quite evenly matched. I'd give my points to the Roman Legion there versus these heavies. Here, though, well, it's heavies, but the Triarii are lining up there. That looks kind of scary. Got this big old phalanx sitting here. Now that thing can drive through the center, maybe, but gotta clear some room. And here, these mediums versus the lights. The mediums should have the advantage, but there's no leader. Oh, can't do anything without a leader, really. And they're kind of sitting there and getting shot up. Likewise, here we got the mediums versus, well, there's some Legion here, but these Legion don't have a leader. The mediums do, actually. So they should actually be able, you know, even if they can't drive the Legionnaires away immediately, if they were left alone in that kind of situation, they could rally and come back and rally and come back. Well, maybe not with a 3-leader. That's kind of dangerous. But you can see what I mean. A leader makes the difference. The command for the Romans, they can't do anything. I think that's a little weird. Kind of disturbs me about the system. But they're fighting. I mean, they'll defend themselves. It's just they don't have anybody to command them and tell them to do anything. It just feels like somebody would rise up no matter what and say, hey, we ought to be doing this. Over here, well, the cav for the Carthaginians is looking pretty hammered. And these light infantry, there's just not much here. There's a whole lot coming at them and not much there. What is there, a lot of it's routing. Looks kind of scary. Let's look at the points for this turn. Got quite a few units got hurt. Romans didn't lose much, just a couple of these skirmishers. But here, let's see, 2, 12, 22, 23, 24 for Carthage. So they're up to 62. No, but, you know, the armies are in really good shape. They're nowhere near breaking at this point. But there's a lot of Carthaginians going off the map. There are a few Romans running, too, and the Romans are kind of letting them go. They're not chasing them down. Their leadership's not good enough to really worry about that usually. They like to let people go. I'm going to load this one up, and hopefully tomorrow I'll be able to get a turn in, too.